How to build a mind so strong it terrifies people. MITRE guidance. Learn faster, think deeper. There is a moment in life that almost nobody warns you about. It does not arrive with noise or drama. It does not announce itself or ask for permission. There is no applause, no encouragement, no clear sign that something important is happening. It begins quietly, almost invisibly. It begins the moment you stop pretending you want to change and actually start changing. Not talking about growth, not sharing quotes, not watching videos to feel productive, but changing for real. Your habits begin to shift. Your thinking slows down but becomes sharper. You start noticing things you once ignored. You become less tolerant of empty conversations, pointless routines, and emotional noise. You begin to question beliefs you accepted for years without resistance. And that is when something unexpected happens. The people around you start to feel uncomfortable. They do not say it directly, most never will. Instead, it shows up sideways, in jokes that feel more like warnings, in advice disguised as concern but carrying an undertone of control, in awkward silences when you speak calmly and clearly instead of emotionally. At first, you wonder if you are imagining it, but you're not. Something real is happening. Your internal change is disturbing an unspoken agreement. Most people survive by staying asleep, not because they are incapable, but because waking up demands responsibility. When you start thinking independently, you disrupt the comfort of predictability. And nothing makes people more uneasy than someone who no longer needs approval to exist. If this feels familiar, it is because you are standing in a narrow psychological space. You are no longer fully asleep, but you are not yet completely free. This space is lonely, it is confusing, it is uncomfortable, and it is exactly where most people turn back. But there is a truth that life has always made clear, even if people prefer to forget it. Strength does not develop in comfort. It is shaped under pressure. And a truly strong mind does not attract admiration at first. It attracts resistance. Every society has invisible rules that are never written down but always enforced. Do not think too deeply. Do not question too much. Do not rise too far above the average. As long as you repeat the same opinions, chase the same distractions, fear the same things, you are welcomed, you are relatable, you are safe. The moment you step outside that script, the tone changes. You are no longer easygoing. You become intense. You become difficult. You become different. Not because you changed for the worse, but because you became clearer. Clarity exposes confusion. Discipline exposes laziness. Self-respect exposes insecurity. And insecurity always reacts defensively. This is one of the first truths of mental strength. A strong mind is not neutral. It disrupts simply by existing. That is why people who grow mentally often feel isolated before they feel empowered. You are shedding an identity that once kept you safe, but also kept you small. And the world prefers you small. The human mind is not a peaceful place. It is a battleground. Fears, instincts, desires, and beliefs collide constantly. Growth does not happen by gently adding new ideas on top of old illusions. Real growth happens when what is false collapses, and collapse is painful. There comes a moment when the old way of seeing yourself stops working. The routines that once comforted you feel empty. The values you borrowed no longer make sense. You feel confused, restless, unsettled. This inner chaos scares most people. They rush to distract themselves. They fill their days with noise. They return to familiar habits, even if those habits are slowly draining them. But if you stay in that chaos instead of running from it, something begins to form. A mind that does not depend on validation, a sense of self that can withstand uncertainty. Pain no longer weakens this kind of mind, it sharpens it. Modern culture teaches that suffering is abnormal, that pain means something went wrong, that discomfort should be avoided whenever possible. This belief keeps people fragile. In reality, suffering is not a flaw in life, it is one of its main forces. Think about the moments that truly changed you. They were not the easy ones. They were the moments when you were lost, broken, unsure, forced to confront yourself without distractions. Suffering strips away illusion. It exposes what is essential. It forces psychological maturity. A strong mind does not ask life to be easier. It asks itself to become stronger. It stops asking why this is happening and starts asking what this moment demands you become. That shift alone separates those who grow from those who remain average. There is a dangerous illusion many people cling to, the belief that meaning comes from outside, that someone or something will provide direction, justification, and answers. When people believe meaning is given to them, they live passively. They wait, they obey, they blame. When that illusion collapses, panic often follows, because freedom is terrifying. Freedom means there are no excuses left, no one to blame, no one to save you, only choice and consequence. This is where real mental strength begins, not when you feel confident, but when you realize your life is your responsibility. Those who cannot bear this realization search for new authorities, new beliefs, new systems to lean on. Those who endure it begin to build something rare, autonomy. Radical responsibility is heavy. It means your failures are yours, your stagnation is yours, your growth is yours. Nothing is outsourced. But inside that weight is an enormous gift. When nothing is guaranteed, everything becomes possible. The moment you accept that no one is coming to rescue you, something wakes up inside, a seriousness, a fire, a refusal to waste your time. You stop performing for approval. You stop pretending. You stop asking permission. This is the shift from victim to creator. And creators are dangerous, not because they harm others, but because they cannot be controlled. A fully developed individual does not live by borrowed values. They do not measure themselves by external applause. They create internal standards and live by them. They seek meaning through creation, not consumption. Their mind becomes unbreakable because it is no longer built on approval. They stop asking whether something is allowed and start asking whether it is worthy of them. That single question changes everything. But this path is costly. You must sacrifice belonging without authenticity, praise without respect, comfort without growth. Most people turn back here because loneliness feels like death. In reality, it is a form of rebirth. No one tells you this clearly enough. The stronger you become, the lonelier you will feel. Not because you reject others, but because fewer people can meet you where you stand. Strength creates distance. Clarity creates separation, not from arrogance, but from incompatibility. Most people live inside invisible psychological crowds. Their thoughts are monitored, their actions shaped by opinion, their identities negotiated socially. A strong mind steps outside that enclosure, and the silence can feel overwhelming. There is no applause, no reassurance, no validation, only you, your fears, your unresolved pain, your unfinished self. Most people rush back to noise, but if you stay, if you endure solitude without numbing, you begin to possess yourself. Owning yourself is rare, and rarity attracts resistance. Collective mediocrity does not attack loudly, it pressures quietly. It rewards sameness and punishes difference. It disguises resentment as morality. When you grow stronger, clearer, more disciplined, people feel exposed, not because you attack them, but because your existence reminds them of what they avoided becoming. So they label you arrogant, cold, extreme, difficult. These labels are not descriptions, they are defenses. Mediocrity cannot tolerate excellence because excellence reveals possibility, and possibility threatens excuses. Resistance is often not proof you are wrong, it is proof you are uncommon. To survive this path, inspiration is not enough. You need inner tools, ruthless self-honesty without self-hatred, emotional discipline that allows you to feel deeply without being controlled by emotion, the ability to tolerate solitude without collapsing, the courage to create